What is that?
This is the Kd Comedy Podcast, featuring true crime, amazing events, conspiracies, unsolved mysteries, and an array of weird and wonderful topics, all for your enjoyment. You're welcome.
And that proves that even people that you would trust with your life can, at some point, go fucking crazy.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to jump onto your topic whenever you want,
that's what I was just about to say.
And this is, I suppose, the second part of the Kd Comedy, episode 27. We're going to go on to the main topic, presented by Mr. Nathan Parish this time round.
Hello.
And just to let you know again, I suppose, in case you didn't watch the first part, you really should go back and watch the first part.
Yeah.
Go back and watch the first part now.
Yeah.
Okay. Cold thing from my head, got a headache. It looks cool. Thank you.
Better than Nelly. And
Better
off
than
we
Nelly.
go.
Nelly wishes
Yes.
he was me. Nelly looks at me and he's
Goddamn
like,
right he
God
does.
damn it. I wish it was Katie. That's not even a song.
Right. No, well,
Hinken up in here. It's Hinken up in here. I want to look like Katie.
that's actually a good point. You know, it's getting hot in here. We need to take our clothes off. Well, he wouldn't have fucking had to if he had a cold thing on, would he? A cold pack on, would you, Nelly? You silly boy.
Maybe he had a cold pad. Maybe that's what that was. There, you didn't have the balls to go full hog with it, you know.
Yeah, well, in which case, fuck him, and he should be ashamed of himself, and he should have had bigger cojones.
You know what? I would reference another song into an insult of some kind, but I can't think of any other songs. Insult that.
Yeah. Fuck that. Fuck you, Nelly. All of your songs are forgettable. Yeah.
No, I actually quite like Nelly, and I can't think of any of the other songs now. I did quite like them.
Yeah. I never really got all that far into Nelly, I'll be honest. All I knew about was the patch. And just a little...
Yeah.
So, yes. My story this week is about a man called Dr. Henry Howard Holmes, a.k.a. H.H. Holmes, a.k.a. or... as he was originally born, aka the Beast of Chicago, my apologies, and as he was born, Herman Webster Mudgett.
So what did he change his name to, and what was his name originally again?
Right, so his original name he was born as was Herman Webster Mudgett.
I understand why you're changing that.
Yep. And he changed it to Dr. Henry Howard Holmes.
The original Triple H. I forgot you said you were doing this story as well, so yeah, cool.
Yeah. And the amazing thing is as well, like, you got to think about this. He chose to have 3 names with the same letters in it. And, like, that's got to be fucking weird. You've got to be a bit of a psychopath to think, you know what would be good? HHH. Howard Henry Holmes. Henry Howard Holmes. You know, it
is a strange choice to make. It's very strange to choose that, yeah.
I wouldn't do it. I'd pick something more natural. You know what I mean? Like, just have... Like, he sounds like a superhero from the Stan Lee era of you know, making comic book movies. You know, Jesus Christ.
I'm not going to lie though. If there wasn't negative connotations that went along with this, I would consider, changing my name and having the initials KKK.
Yeah, it's a shame, innit? It's a shame. Really.
Yeah,
some people have just got to spoil it for everyone, Carl.
I'm the real victim here.
Mm-hmm. God damn right you are.
Yeah.
In fact, I'm going to play Red Dead Redemption after this, and I'm going to go and find the KKK in the forest like I did last time and dynamite them just for you.
Thank you.
Yeah. So he was born to Levi Horton Mudgett and Theodate, I don't know how to pronounce it, Page Price in 1861. Said to be smart as a child, he would say he became interested in medicine, and sort of took it a little bit too far, Carl. Because there were rumours of the little guy going around and just casually dissecting squirrels and shit.
Oh, as a little babbo as well.
Yeah,
Ooh.
this was when he was like, in his teenage years. He just started tearing open little things and going, "I'll have that little liver out of there and those lungs out of there," and like,
Which it always leads to well-balanced people,
Yeah.
starts like that in life too.
Yeah.
Never goes badly.
No, never.
Doesn't happen.
No one ever has started killing animals for fun and turned out to be a bad person.
No, definitely not. I'm sure it won't happen here.
Yeah. So he practiced his surgery on the animals, and at 16 graduated Phillips Exeter Academy, where he later would marry Clara Lovering on July the 4th, 1878.
So I'm guessing his family had some money to them, or someone did them, because I don't understand how this guy can't be a cool guy.
Oh yeah, he had a well-to-do family. He had enough money coming in, and he had sisters and brothers who all did fairly well as well. Like he was twisted for other reasons.
The family,
like
the
there were
family name
rumors
was known
occasionally. Yeah, and there were rumors occasionally of like his dad beating him when he was younger, but like they're relatively unsubstantiated. Weirdly, it seems like it could have happened, but it could well have just been this guy was fucking twisted to begin with, and just didn't have a very good moral compass. Because like there is a sort of reason for why he did his killings and the way he did, but we'll get to that.
I mean, there are plenty of situations, though, like we've said before, about like people that just started like had a fine upbringing and that, but for some reason they started doing this thing. They started killing animals. They started doing random shit. It led to more. It happens like a lot still, doesn't it? Just randomly, even when they've been brought up fine.
Yeah. It's not a guarantee. Like, even being in a shitty household isn't a guarantee that you will become a murderer.
Yeah,
but if you have bad tendencies and you are, it's far more likely. It just becomes one of those.
It's not a case of nature or nurture, because certain people could be more triggered by nature, certain people by nurture, certain people by neither or something else. It's all different and it depends on the person, it seems, anyway.
Yeah. So, he has a son, Robert Lovering Mudgett, on February the 3rd, 1880.
Oh wait, so it gives his son the original name still, though?
Yeah, well, I think it's strange because he hasn't actually changed his name yet for reasons that will become clear later on.
Oh, okay. This is pre-changing name. Okay.
Yeah, there is so much to this story. So much, in fact, that I haven't been able to write it all down, and I am going to have to go back to the Wikipedia page to get off of my notes, because it's just, there is so much to do with this weirdo.
Yeah,
in fact,
so much stories that I've never really read into either too much. I don't know why. I just never have. I don't know much of it.
And not only that, but it is such a big story and such an interesting story that it has been optioned for a film by Martin Scorsese to be played by Leonardo Dicaprio. See, my drum solo was so big it knocked your microphone, Carl.
The drummer, I appreciate that.
Yeah, it was impressive, wasn't it? So he enrolls in the University of Vermont at 18, but left dissatisfied after just sort of going, this ain't for me. This place is dumb. I don't see the fucking point of this shit. So in 1882, he goes to the University of Michigan and works and studies in
another one.
Yeah.
Finish what? Yeah, I interrupted you there.
Yeah, that's right. And he just goes to the Department of Medicine and Surgery while he's there. So this is another. I've talked quite a lot about like people who become doctors and end up fucking dangerous.
I mean, it makes sense though, because he was doing. Did you say in the original unit he was doing the same thing though, medicine and surgery and that?
Mm-hmm.
Which is strange,
Similar
then, you know,
type
why?
stuff.
Yeah, why he went from the one to the other? Then you'd assume he'd be doing something else then, or
Yeah, I think it was just that the University of Michigan had a slightly more sort of lax attitude because, like, the person he was learning from in the Department of Medicine and Surgery in Michigan, he's got a name I can't remember off the top of my head, but he was like a huge proponent of dissecting human beings to find out what they look like on
and
the
this is
inside
the
and
place
stuff
he
like that.
ended up at.
This is the place he ended up at. So, like,
Okay,
you've got
yeah.
the man who was already taking apart animals to see how interesting they were, and he goes to a university with another dude who's taking apart human cadavers to see how interesting they are, and it just sort of,
Yeah. I can see why he would progress to that. The other place,
yeah,
he was probably
exactly.
still what he was doing when he was like a baby. He was, I was disliking these frogs when I was in nappies. What are you on about? I want to get onto the big stuff. I'm a
I
man
want to see
now.
some fucking toes and kidneys chopped
Good.
off.
I want to make myself a watch made of tonsils and leg bones.
Oh, that sounds fucking horrible. So, yes, while he's at the University of Michigan Department of Medicine and Surgery, he begins using corpses from the labs to commit insurance fraud. So he sets shit up to be like, yeah, this person's alive, and I had them in my car, and we had an accident, or they fell off of a building, or this, that, and the other, or I ran them. And just getting loads and loads of money for already dead corpses.
That's crazy how, like, you know, surely they would have already had the death certificate. Well, then again, this is really old, ain't it, though?
Yeah, this is 1880s. This is before the turn of the century. I mean, this is
paperwork.
fucking ancient. Yeah.
Media. Why they even have insurance, to be honest, back then? That's more surprising.
Yeah. It's quite incredible, to be fair, isn't it? To think that they had enough wherewithal and stuff set up to do that.
Yeah,
it's pretty fucking good.
And the communication for it as well, you know, because no internet just makes everything.
Yeah,
so
it would have all had to be done like by telegram, I guess. You know, Morse code and shit like that.
Even but probably like a lot of the time just by hand as well. Like
yeah.
Do you just do a burp then?
Nah.
I just had you go off for a second. Just like burp.
Yeah.
I like the new little logo as well. I don't know if you noticed it up there. I like the new little KD Comedy logo.
Yeah, it's quite nice actually. It's smooth. Yeah. I think it's a good little. It's really well done actually.
Nice little sexy ting.
Yeah. Right.
Sexy tinger.
Apparently, and this sort of shows a bit more of the guy's mental state. While he was there, his housemates said that he beat Clara, his wife, and in 1884, Clara left him to return home. She returns home to Moore's folks, New York. Basically, never heard from him again, never saw him again, never had any contact with him, and the son very much the same sort of thing.
Yeah, did she take the son with her then?
Yeah.
Okay, now it makes more sense.
Yeah.
I'd assume the little bits I do know of the man, it makes sense that he wouldn't have had a child running about if he was going to do the things he did do.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you can't child-proof a house like that.
No. So, he decides to I think he's working in Philadelphia at the moment, and while working in a pharmacy, a boy who was taking medication prescribed to him dies. Holmes denies involvement because he's changed his name at this point, right?
Okay.
He hasn't changed his name. He changed his name after this. He denies involvement, immediately leaves the city, and changes his name to Henry Howard Holmes. So that doesn't sound exactly like the sort of behavior of someone who's like, yeah, no, I'm completely innocent. When you know, oh,
So,
you've been,
yeah.
you could have killed that boy. Could I? Fuck you, I'm leaving to Chicago.
So what was it they said actually happened then in that other place that made him do that?
Well, basically, there were rumors going around that he could have been involved in giving the kids some medication that he shouldn't have done while he was at the pharmacy,
Yeah.
basically.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. I suppose either
and this
way, though,
happens
to be fair,
again.
I can imagine it would still be something you would. Yeah, it makes sense either way, actually.
And this is something that happens again later on around him. During this time as well, he marries up on another woman who he shouldn't have married because he wasn't divorced from his previous wife. But I don't have time to get involved with his personal life, unfortunately. This shit gets so fucking
name. I guess.
Yeah. But when he arrives in Chicago, it starts to get pretty fucking strange. Working for Elizabeth Holton at another pharmacy, he is basically seen as this hard-working, diligent dude, to the point where he eventually buys the store from her, from having saved up and done all of his work properly, and doing what he's supposed to do.
Yeah.
He
must have had some saved up as well in that case, then, like just from a while.
Yeah. Also, as well, there's a rumor that he killed Elizabeth Holton and her husband, but apparently that's a myth, and he didn't actually kill her because there's definite proof that they were both alive later after his eventual capture.
Yeah.
Same with a woman called Kate Durkee, who was supposedly one of his first victims, who was provably alive afterwards as well, and a med school classmate, Robert Laycock, who wasn't dead, even though HHH, as he will be referred to from now on, said he killed him. Yeah. Well, but like he genuinely, like, we've got another one of these kinds of murderers who goes like, "Oh yeah, no, I killed them. Oh, I killed them too. Yeah, I killed them. Oh, I killed all those people." And it's like, well, where's the line of truth on this shit? It seems like a smart move to do if you're ever a murderer, to just admit to all sorts of crimes, even if you didn't fucking do them.
Does it? Is that
if they've already caught you, because then it just seems to muddy the water around the investigation, and they start having to ask you more questions.
That's true, and I suppose they might focus on the wrong ones, and then they can't,
and then they go, "Oh well, that one's provably wrong, so we're going to disprove all the others," and then eventually you're out and murdering again. So. He purchases, So HHH is doing really well. So he purchases the empty lot across the street. He starts to sort of build a big fucking building there, basically, what will eventually turn out to be what was called the Murder Castle by people lovingly as they went past.
And it's just Chicago still, was it?
Yeah. This is in Chicago.
I didn't realize it was in Chicago.
Yeah. And he's starting to build this big fucking place. He's got creditors involved. He's got steel manufacturers involved. He's got, like, this is a full-blown construction project.
Especially for the time as well. Like, steel wasn't even like used everywhere, was it? Like,
yeah,
it wouldn't have been used in your general house.
Yeah, not well. I mean, it'd be used for industrial side stuff like this, I suppose.
Yeah.
But that's basically it.
Side of this.
Well, I mean, like I don't know how they built it, but like I'm assuming you'd have some form of structural frame inside of a building, unless it's just
of course,
stone. I don't know.
That's what I'm saying. No, this is probably a newer thing back then, like rather than like I don't imagine that had been around a long time back then. Probably a newer thing still. So even more of a bigger construction thing, more money.
Oh yeah, it was definitely a sort of top of the range kind of place.
Yeah.
But of course, he's not quite as reliable as everyone seems. So eventually, a creditor of Holmes called John de Brule, I don't know. John DeBrew. Died of apoplexy, apparently, on April the 17th, 1891, in the very pharmacy where H.H.H. was working.
Ooh.
Now, there's no proof that he did this, but we've already seen that a kid died in a pharmacy while he was there, and then he just fucking left. And now this dude has just died in his pharmacy, but this time he's like, nah, fuck it, I'll stay.
I missed that bit about what you said before with the kid that was in the pharmacy too. I get that more now.
Yeah.
And even more so now, then, it's like, well, kind of seems like a little bit of an original MO there.
Yeah, there's something going on.
It wouldn't be hard either. Like, I imagine the stuff in there to go and get, and just walks up, injects him, and it kills them straight away. And you can't do a toxicology report back then, in the 1800s.
Yeah. Well, he definitely knows how to use chloroform. We find that out later on.
I know how to use it. You have to put it over someone's face, and it only works if you say the word chloroform.
Yeah, chloroform.
You say with that bass in your voice, though, like chloroform. If you go chloroform,
you have to say it like you're Nick Nolte. Chloroform.
You can say it like that, but you just have to start saying it like before you get near to the person, because they'll run away else.
Yeah. Especially if you're doing the Nick Nolte.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
Come over here.
Yeah. Right. Okay. Yeah. So in 1888, steel suppliers begin to sue Holmes after he doesn't pay his debts. In 1892, he adds a third floor, telling investors he's going to use the floors as a hotel, the floor as a hotel during the World Columbian Expo, which is set to happen in Chicago in a few months' time.
I bet he said to him, guys, don't you worry, I'm going to make a killing.
Yeah, yeah. Oh. Fine pun work there, sir.
Thank you. Even my tired brain can still come up with a pun. Can't make a sentence, but it can come up with a pun. Even a terrible one.
I'm barely being fueled by the whiskey at this point, but we're cooking with gas now. So, in 1892, later on, the hotel is still not complete. Its current state is as follows. The first floor is a beautiful looking storefront. The second floor is... the third floor is soundproofed apartments. So that's weird.
Furthest away from the floor is soundproof.
Yeah. Second floor has torture rooms.
Torture rooms?
Straight up torture rooms.
What was he say they were though when they were being built?
I don't know. I genuinely don't know, because some of the shit that gets built in this place is beyond fucking explanation, right? So not only are there torture rooms, but in quite a lot of the soundproofed apartments and in these torture rooms, there were body chutes which led straight down to the basement. In the basement, there were acid vats, quicklime, and a crematorium, all stocked up with fucking top-of-the-line surgical equipment.
Fuck, he must have had some good money behind him then. He just must have.
Oh, he made lots of money. Lots and lots and lots of money through two different ways.
But in terms of one of them, like supplying cadavers.
Yep.
I could just
he supplied cadavers. He sold organs and things on the black market. He also, and this is the really fucked up bit, and we'll get more into this later on. With a lot of his victims, he would get them to join on to work at the hotel. He would then get them to sign a document of life insurance.
Oh, right, yeah.
Making him the beneficiary. and then would just promptly fucking kill them and take the money. So he was.
So why would they sign it? I suppose they're desperate for a job. This is why they would sign it, probably.
Yeah.
How does that never come back on him?
I don't. Well, yeah, it does.
Yeah, I think too soon.
So,
but everything I suppose is going to take longer and be harder to do, just because, like I said, it's 1800s. So
yeah, exactly. So yeah, a furniture supplier that later sort of managed to get into the building after all the sort of shit had gone down, found materials that he didn't pay for hidden in secret passages and rooms. In 1894, officers investigate the house. Whilst HHH is out and he's going about his business, the officers sneak in and take a look around. Inside, they find hinged walls that can move around at a moment's notice, false partitions where literally you just take open a section of the wall, rooms linked by secret passageways, and this is where it gets so fucked up, airtight rooms connected to gas pipelines.
Okay, so rooms ready to gas people and that. Were they supposed to be done up to be hotel rooms as well?
Basically, yeah. He had gas chambers that were designed to make people think, oh, isn't this a lovely little place to sit down and lie down and have a little sleep?
Sitting there, like waiting for them. It was like it had all these experiments like set up, like just to see what happens and just try them out and stuff. Just try these different things, And
as I say, he'd kill these people, and then he'd take a per death payment off of the different life insurance companies, and then chop up the body, sell the bits to various people, including medical institutions who didn't know this is where the cadavers were coming from. It's just like, oh, there's a dead person for us to examine. That'll be interesting. And anything he didn't use got quick-limed or incinerated in his fucking crematorium.
There's a few stories like that, isn't there? Like about different things that people selling them to like cadavers and stuff, because that's a big part of why they stopped it eventually, was because people getting murdered and shit. The torso murders or something like that was a famous one as well. The Cleveland torso, I think that is. I know it happened in England
so fucked
too,
up.
But...
Yeah, that kind of shit happens weirdly, regularly in lots of places.
I mean, not so much like this. Well, to be fair, the selling, especially on the black market, like a dark website, probably definitely does happen still. Selling organs and
definitely.
that. Actually, I guarantee it probably does. Yeah.
So now we get into the bit where I have to go to Wikipedia.
Wikipedia is God. Wikipedia is good. Wikipedia helps us all. Wikipedia blood.
The Wikipedia blood.
I'm a freaking poet and I didn't know. That's a lie. I'm a poet and I do know it.
Right, so we're going to go to first murder. There we go. Right. So, one of Holmes' early murder victims was his mistress, Julia Smythe. She was the wife of Ned Connor, who had moved into Holmes' building and began working at his pharmacy's jewelry counter. After Connor found out about Smythe's affair with Holmes, he quit his job and moved away, leaving Smythe and her daughter Pearl behind. Smythe gained custody of Pearl and remained at the hotel, continuing her relationship with Holmes. Julia and Pearl disappeared on Christmas Eve of 1891, and Holmes later claimed she had died during an abortion.
Oh, so this is during the time before the police had gone today.
Yeah, this is before the police had got cottoned on and stuff like that. Another likely
new little family that they were in there, that was in there with them basically, and they just disappeared at Christmas.
Yeah, just disappeared.
Like
she was having an abortion at Christmas, officer, and she died. I'm very sorry. Like that is
already a kid as well, though. You said.
Oh yeah, but they both died.
Yeah, the wife had an abortion.
It was. You don't understand how important this abortion was, Carl. It had to happen in the 58th trimester.
Fucking hell, that is. Oh Jesus! That is some monster fucking. Oh, I can see why she ended up dying from it.
Yeah.
Weird. Yeah.
It's so fucked up, dude.
Basically,
It's so
giving birth
fucked
to
up.
Danny DeVito at that point.
Yeah.
Danny DeVito
Yeah,
is a very
later on-
small actor for anyone who doesn't know out there is watching
Yeah,
this.
yeah.
I forget
They
how old he
must
is.
know. If you don't know who Danny DeVito is, go educate yourself, you fucking morons.
Always
Right.
Sunny in Philadelphia. That's where the children will know him from.
Yeah, that's where
There you
they'll
go.
know him from.
For you
Yeah.
youngins.
So later on, Emmeline Sigrand began working in the building on May 1892, and disappeared that December. Another woman who vanished, Edna Van Tassel, is also
December,
believed
Jesus.
to have been among. Sorry.
And in December as well.
Yeah. Like, he's got patterns, but the
Yeah.
patterns change. That's what's weird. He has one set of things that he does, and then it changes to something else. And it's almost like he can't decide quite how he wants to murder, and he's trying out everything before he finishes on his ultimate plan.
It feels like the pharmacy stuff, like, was just I want to do it. Oh, I'm just going to do it as quick as I can. You know, that was cool. I want to do it again. But then it was just like, I want to be able to enjoy this, not a quick in and out and run away. I'm going to turn my house
I'll build
into
a building
house.
specifically to murder people in. Yeah.
I mean, I'm always saying, when it comes to serial killers, like the Son of Something, that was one thing I was going to mention with that is it's just a lot of shooting with a gun. It's easy. It's boring. At least this guy's put some thought into it. He's trying. He's trying. He's being the best him he can be.
Yeah. So, later on, Edna Van Tassel, also believed to be among his victims. His usual murder method was suffocation of his victims. An overdose of chloroform would be the start. Exposure to lighting gas fumes, trapped in an airless vault. The list goes on. The guy has got so many different ways of wanting to kill people.
Oh, so there was a lot of other ways he killed him as well then.
Yeah, so the suffocation was his main one. Then it was chloroform. Then exposure of light to lighting gas fumes. Yeah.
It just sounded like he was just trying to buffet more than anything.
Yeah, he's just a smorgasbord of murder. He also claimed to have used starvation and burning victims alive in his castle.
That's the worst one.
While working in the chemical bank building on Dearborn Street, Holmes met and became close friends with Benjamin Pitzel, a carpenter with a criminal past. Holmes
it sounds like they were living in a comic book world.
It does, doesn't it? It sounds so fucking strange. It's like Sweeney Todd.
Yeah.
Like, but more real and more creepy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's a lot of real life stories, especially true crime stories, that they have to legitimately leave facts out because they just think people will assume it's bullshit.
Yeah, because it's like no one would be that stupid. Oh, they would. Holmes used Pitzel as his right-hand man for several criminal schemes. Basically, a lot of the stuff involved using like corpses or to produce more money via fucking life insurance scams.
Yeah. It's like also
and sometimes
what
just
about murderers and fraudsters got to use what you got.
Yeah, and sometimes just straight up faking deaths and shit like that. In early 1893, a one-time actress named Minnie Williams moved to Chicago. Holmes claimed to have met her in an employment office, though those were rumors there were rumors that he'd met her in Boston years earlier. He offered her a job at the hotel as his personal stenographer, and she accepted. Holmes persuaded Williams to transfer the deed. Sorry?
What's a stenographer?
Oh, it's someone who like a court stenographer.
Okay, yeah. So basically a secretary.
So he could go like dictated but not read,
Yeah.
So yeah, he persuaded Williams to transfer the deed to her property in Fort Worth, Texas, to a man named Alexander Bond, an alias of Holmes.
Well,
Because
she seems like she should have a bit more brains to her, just for the fact that, you know, like, she's not just desperate for a job at the same time, you know. Or
well, I'm assuming this
she
guy's
is,
being a
but still.
charmer. Yeah, but I'm assuming this guy's being a charmer and like, well, I'm married at the moment, hun, but as soon as I'm done, you and me are gonna run away together. If you just put that thing into your name and, you know, that kind of shit.
Yeah. Maybe, yeah, I suppose the money as well is flashing it about. He's probably just smooth talker, maybe, yeah.
Yeah. Basically, that's what I'm assuming.
Actually, aren't they? Yeah.
Yeah, genuinely, yeah, because a lot of them are sort of able to pick apart what people normally do because they're sort of preying on it instead and looking at it like a predator more than just a person.
And they just don't care as well, so they'll just do whatever they need to do to
get exactly what they want. Yeah.
Know a few people like that.
Yeah, bro.
Yep.
A lot of those people about.
There's lots of those people. One good thing about the whole mask thing is, though, you could see them as the ones that aren't wearing it in a shop. But now, as it goes back, we'll have to go back to trying to figure out who they are again. God damn it!
Yeah,
vaccine making our life easier again. God
I can't wait for my fucking vaccine, dude. I'm so fucking bored of waiting for my fucking vaccine now.
It's not too bad.
It's it's getting down to 30. We're gonna have under 30, over 35s getting it soon. It's like, fuck your over 35s. I'm 30. I want it now. Want it now. I want fucking now.
I'm not as worried about specifically getting mine, just because as it gets, you know, like all the ones before us, it's a lot. It's a hell of a lot less likely that we're going to get it now anyway, just because all of them lost.
Oh yeah, but I still just want it now.
Yeah, I still want it now.
Yeah.
We're not
so
due for it yet. We can't bitch about it yet, can we?
No,
like,
exactly.
to get it. No.
But again, it annoys me. Like in some places in America, they've already got people in their 30s getting it because it's just basically sign up and grab it, and it's like, fuck yes, I wish I could have done that.
But there's no at the same time, though. I reckon that could come back to bite them in the ass, just because there's no rhyme or reason to who's getting it as have done it, so that people needed it first. So it just come along the line. So as it gets to us, just, you know, everything should. It's actually worked weirdly how it's supposed to. That the country is supposed to be in a much better place, even by the time it got to us anyway.
Yeah. Hopefully it will be. I just want my fucking. I want my freedom back, man. I want my freedom. Yeah, in April 1893, Williams transferred the deed, with Holmes serving as the notary. Holmes later signed the deed over to Pitzel, giving him the alias Benton T. Lyman. So at least the guy comes up with some stellar fucking names, all right?
Yeah, give him that. Totally give him that.
Yeah. And not only that, but he's got bent in it, which is a old school term for being, you know, dodgy or a criminal.
Yeah.
And he's also got Lyman in it. Benton T. Lyman. Benton T. Lyman. This bent dude is lying to you. The next month. So, okay. Hang on a sec, people. Carl will be back. Okay. Don't worry. And, you know, like, all I can. Oh, god damn it, he's back. Never mind.
Pluggy.
What is that? Right,
the new fucking single right there, my man.
Yeah, that's the mad notes right there. So the next month, Holmes and Williams, presenting themselves as man and wife, rented an apartment in Chicago's Lincoln Park. Minnie's sister Annie came to visit, and in July she wrote to her aunt that she planned to accompany brother Harry to Europe. Neither Minnie nor Annie were seen alive after July the 5th, 1893. Holmes had this. I just want to do this bit because it's a bit of flavour at the end of the Wikipedia thing that I quite like.
Okay.
Holmes had an entrepreneurial spirit. Based on his former medical education and his connections, he was able to sell skeletons to medical labs and schools. He sometimes hired an assistant. Oh, he and a sometimes hired assistant were accused of stripping the flesh off of bodies, dissecting them, and preparing the viable skeletons. The rest of the remains would be tossed in pits of lime or acid, effectively breaking down the remaining evidence.
So it was only just skeletons they were buying?
Skeletons and bits of the organs for dissection and things like that as well.
Probably hospitals and stuff buying the organs more. So yeah. That's so random.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's
the whole
fucked, dude. It's
the whole process made sense from like in regards to forensic countermeasures that they call them. It all makes perfect sense and stuff, but it doesn't sound like he even killed that many, considering the effort he went through to build this place.
Oh, he killed a lot more than this is letting on. Like, there's a lot of people that just weren't accounted for. Basically, I'll get to that now. Actually, in 1894, he was arrested. Right.
Okay. After the bit you was on about before.
Yeah, but it's not for what you expect.
Okay.
He was arrested for trying to sell mortgaged goods.
Despite them going in his house as well and just walking in there, even if there wasn't any evidence on blood around or body parts, you can just looking around, is enough. Surely.
You'd expect, but apparently not. Like, this guy's got literal fucking gas chambers in his house. He's got body chutes. He's got a fucking crematorium. But nah, he's not done anything illegal yet.
Rooms or things hooked up, like he's got soundproof,
It's so fucked up, man.
If you walked into any of Saul's setups for his games, it would be enough. You wouldn't have to. There wouldn't have to be someone hooked up in there. You'd be like, okay, you're not a good person. Maybe we should arrest you. You've probably done something. It would. Okay.
But you can't arrest someone for just being creepy.
Nobody, no crime.
Yep. Nobody, no crime. Habeas corpus. Right, what was I talking? Yeah, so he gets bailed out immediately by, I believe it was his mate, his criminal mate, Petzel or Peitzel or whatever it is.
Fair dues.
Yeah, he talks to a man called Marion Hedgepath while he was in jail. A man, he was a criminal. Yeah. He was a criminal, a bit of a weirdo, all that kind of stuff. And H.H.H. puts it into his head, you know what? What we're going to do is we're going to get you, and we're going to fake your death, and then we're going to get like 10 grand in money back for like nothing. How good of an idea does that sound? And he goes, you know what, mate? It sounds genius.
And 10 grand probably would have been nearer to like 100 grand back then.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, it fails. Because the insurance company gets suspicious. They're like, sure have been a lot of life insurance claims coming from around this place. And of course, H.H.H. being the man he is, he doesn't want to get fucked up. He doesn't want people to start looking around his house. So he just leaves it, doesn't contest it, lets it fucking happen. Stops talking to Marion Hedgepath, all is forgotten.
He just he just doesn't try to argue against it because he knows they could look into more stuff then. So
Exactly. Yeah, it's like, well, where did this person go? Where did that person go? Oh, well, they're all in various medical places being looked at by students.
Rather than get into all that, it's just let it go and then just hope they don't look at the others.
Yeah.
So you can imagine it does happen, with rich people, especially back then, you'd have like servants and stuff too, like
all the time, yeah.
and factory owners too, and like workers that would die for whatever reason. So I suppose you could probably do it for a while without it, like
Yeah, it was a
make
weird
anything.
time for that kind of shit. People would just go missing. I mean, you just got to remember, like, Jack the Ripper was out there for fucking ages. Like, no one could really capture these people. Yeah. Around about that time. Yeah. So undeterred, he tries again with his good old friend Pitzel. Hey, Pitzel, my man, you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna fake your death, and we're gonna get 10 grand. It's gonna be incredibly easy,
He
right?
tries to do the same thing again. Okay.
Tries to do exactly the same thing again, except this time he's going to make sure it works. Here's the scheme, Carl. The scheme is Pitzel pretends to be B.F. Perry and die in a lab explosion, using a body to play the role of the dead corpse.
But little did he know there was Chemical X in the corner and he got superpowers.
No, it's far worse than that. What actually happened, Carl, was Henry Howard Holmes knocks Pitzel out with chloroform and then burns him alive with benzene.
Jesus.
It's like, this needs to look right, otherwise they're going to get suspicious. Burn my friend alive. Perfect.
So, oh my God, there's so much to unpack there.
Yep. This is the fun one.
So he, rather than fake someone's death again, he decides, okay, I'm just going to kill them because that way I'll definitely, there's nothing will come back from it then. Rather than make it look like a suicide, though, he chloroforms in and
knocks him out,
fire.
Sets him on fire and goes, yeah, there was a lab explosion.
Oh God, yeah. The fuck?
Yeah.
Did he even set the rest of the lab on fire or anything?
I don't know. No idea. It doesn't mention it. All it mentions is that this is his plan and it was not smart.
Oh my fucking God. That's amazing for all the wrong reasons.
Yeah. Right, so
at least I can do a suicide so it looks like, he just killed himself. Fuck.
Yeah. So with insurance companies hot on his tail for, things to do with, being dodgy and arson and all that kind of shit. In July 1894, he leaves Chicago and reappears in Fort Worth, where he had inherited property from the Williams sisters. In 1894, Holmes was arrested and briefly jailed for the first time on the charge of selling mortgage goods.
Yeah.
Holmes promised Hedgepath the £500 commission. Pitzel agreed to fake his own death, all that kind of stuff. Holmes collects the insurance payout on the basis of the genuine Pitzel corpse. Holmes then goes on to manipulate Pitzel's unsuspecting wife into allowing 3 of her 5 children, Alice, Nellie, and Howard, to be placed in his custody. What the fuck does this guy do to people's minds? How does he make this happen?
He's a Jedi. He's a straight up Jedi.
I know. There's no other fucking reason why it would work this way. Like, this guy clearly can just get anything. I can't imagine how easy it was for this guy to get laid. I cannot imagine.
You know what I mean? He's a legit con man, straight away, definitely. Got a full-on gift of the gap.
Yeah.
Like,
so
he probably could have been like a super rich like thief and all that if he just wasn't into like just fascination with murdering things.
Yeah. Well, this is the problem, isn't it? People with a fascination for murdering things very seldom want to give it up.
Yeah.
They just seem to get so. It must be fucking amazing. Yeah.
Like, it must be amazing. But the best drug ever, like heroin times 70, like times 70.
Yeah. So right, yeah. The eldest daughter remains with Mrs. Pitzel. Holmes and the 3 Pitzel children travel throughout the northern United States and into Canada. Canada is a fucking great country. I would love to go to Canada. It's just literally Canada, but with shitloads of camels.
All chasing each other, getting high off maple syrup.
Yeah, it's fucking brilliant.
He was talking about how much Canada loves maple syrup and all that. Like, we was going on about that for the whole episode. during that robbery one, and we didn't even talk about the fact that they've got a maple leaf on their flag. I just didn't even think about that.
Yeah, I didn't think of that. Like, literally, that is their biggest symbol. Is God damn, do we like maple, eh?
Yeah, we love maple. That's all we have.
Yeah. So, yeah. So while he's going through the United States and into Canada with the Pitzel children, he simultaneously escorts Mrs. Pitzel along a parallel route while using aliases and lying to Mrs. Pitzel about her husband's death, claiming he was hiding in London, as well as lying to her about the true whereabouts of her 3 missing children. In Detroit, just before entering Canada, they were only separated by a few blocks. But he was like, nah, they're miles away. You'll never be able to see them. Yeah, so like he's got the one girl. He's got Mrs. Pitzel and her fucking eldest daughter blocks down the street from her other kids. And he's going like, oh, no, they're not there. Don't worry, they're with your husband. Your husband's in London. I'll be sending you over to them soon. Okay. Don't you worry. It's all in control. This is a master manipulator at work. And he's manipulated these people into a position where they're also easier for him to manipulate because they're closer to each other, but not so close that they're ever actually going to come across one another. It's so fucking twisted, man.
It's ingeniously, like, horrific.
Yeah.
Especially, like, if they find out in the end just knowing you were that near as well.
Yeah. In an even more audacious move, though, Holmes was staying at another location with his wife, who was unaware of the whole affair. Holmes would later confess to murdering Alice and Nellie by forcing them into a large trunk and locking them inside. He drilled a hole in the lid of the trunk and put one end of a hose through the hole, attaching the other end to a gas line to asphyxiate the girls. Holmes buried their nude bodies in the cellar of his rental house at 16 St. Vincent Street in Toronto. This home and address no longer exist, at St. Vincent Street having long since been realigned by a part of Bay Street, apparently. At this point, Frank Geyer, a Philadelphia police detective assigned to investigate Holmes and find the 3 missing children, found the decomposed bodies of the 2 Pitzel girls in the cellar of the Toronto home. Geyer wrote, "The deeper we dug, the more horrible the odor became. And when we reached the depth of 3 feet, we discovered what appeared to be the bone of the forearm of a human being." He then went to Indianapolis, where Holmes had rented a cottage. Holmes was reported to have visited a local pharmacy to purchase the drugs which he used to kill young Howard Pitzel, and a repair shop to sharpen the knives he used to chop up the body before he burned it. The boy's teeth and bits of his bones were discovered in the Holmes chimney.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
So is
Holmes' murder spree. Sorry, yeah, you saying?
I was just going to say, so is those bits as well that like always get left over and always like catch them out too?
Yeah.
Would you be surprised?
And thank fuck it does.
Yeah. I mean, from the sounds of it, he probably would have got found out anyway.
I mean, it sounded like the noose was gradually sort of tightening. But
it's just surprising someone puts all that work in, all that kind of stuff, and then just leaves the teeth and that in the
ash, basically.
Considering all the other stuff he did in there, it's just surprising that is.
Yeah, and I mean that is a smart move at the time to burn the bodies, because like there's no one to be able to find the evidence unless you leave the teeth.
It's even a smart move now, like it still gets rid of the majority of like DNA or any evidence, even if they find like the charred body and stuff.
Yeah,
I saw that in How to Get Away with Murder.
Yeah.
Holmes'
like murder spree
drama, not like a documentary. Just to clarify, I wasn't watching like a how-to course.
Yeah. It's fine. It's fine. We all know how to kill people. Holmes' murder spree
is natural.
Yeah. Holmes' murder spree finally ended when he was arrested in Boston on November the 17th, 1894, after being tracked there from Philadelphia by the Pinkertons, the famous detective agency that are actually in Red Dead Redemption, talking of that.
Okay.
He was
private
held on an
eyes.
outstanding warrant for horse theft in Texas because the authorities had become more suspicious at this point, and Holmes appeared poised to flee the country in the company of his unsuspecting third wife at this point.
Jesus.
Whilst he's still married to his first, by the way. This guy was a
Oh
full-blown
God,
bigamist.
yeah. Did you say married to the second one died, didn't she?
I believe so. Yeah. Following the discovery of Alice and Nellie's bodies in 1895, Chicago police and reporters began investigating Holmes' building in Englewood, now locally referred to as the Castle, or the Murder Castle.
Yeah, the murder.
That was the place, yeah. Though many sensational claims were made, no evidence was found which could have convicted Holmes in Chicago. According to Seltzer, stories of torture equipment found in the building are 20th century fiction, but considering the amount of stuff we know about what he did and the amount of hidden passages and shit in the police reports and the gas chambers and all that kind of stuff, like torture equipment sounds like a step of maybe too obvious for the guy, and maybe he didn't even need it.
It's like, to say it's not there, it's pretty inconsequential to even mention it when you consider what is there. It's like, okay. Yeah. So you could have a room full of guns and you wouldn't care if there was a little tiny dagger there or something.
Yeah. Holmes, by the way, gave
from what I've seen, a lot of it though, it's like, we know what was there, and that a lot of the stuff you mentioned was the kind of stuff I knew was there. Yeah. So.
Yeah. Exactly.
So I'm guessing. So all that's like known to be there. It's just the torture stuff.
Yeah. That's the thing they're saying. They're like, he didn't torture his victims; he just killed them, basically. And it's like, well, that doesn't make it better, does it? So,
I mean, he didn't just kill them. That's the thing, though. As soon as they said that he put them in a suitcase, put a hose in, and filled it up with gas. Like, if you were just trying to kill them, you could have just done that without putting the gas in and just let them suffocate.
You could have just, And also the nude thing is weird. It's like, that's just fucking,
Forgot you said that,
Yeah. Holmes, of course, gave various contradictory accounts of his life, initially claiming innocence and later that he was possessed by Satan. His propensity for lying made it difficult for researchers to figure out the truth on the basis of his statements. While writing his confessions in prison, Holmes mentioned how drastically his facial appearance had changed since his imprisonment, describing his new grim appearance as gruesome and taking a satanical cast, and wrote how he was now convinced that after everything he'd done, he was beginning to resemble the devil. It's like, no, dude.
Right.
No. This ain't got anything to do with the devil. This is you. You're fucked. You're the fucking problem. What the flying fuck is wrong with you?
You know what it is? If he's thinking he's starting to look more and more like the devil, maybe just because he's realizing he is just a really bad person.
Yeah, maybe that's it.
He is just becoming the devil. He is just that bad of a person.
Maybe it's even just in his mind. Maybe it's just in his mind. He's visually appearing to himself to be evil because he's finally understanding. Yeah, like, fuck yeah. Yeah, I like that.
But bullshit to the fact that he's doing it all because the devil's telling him to.
Yeah, bullshit.
The son of Sam is talking about, like, I'll say a little bit from now. That's just talking about how the devil threw a dog, or a demon through a dog was telling him to do it. It's like, no, it's not. It's never that. It's never that.
A demon through a dog. Yeah, I remember that bit especially. It's like, well, that if a dog's talking to you, maybe don't take it as an angelic thing, or a demonic thing. Maybe just assume you're fucking crazy. But there we go.
But then the person who's actually got a dad called Sam and is a dog as well, would you ignore that person and assume he didn't do it? Oh, I'm getting ahead. I'll get to that next week.
Yeah.
I need to double check a few things, so probably a good idea that we're doing that next week instead.
Yeah. On May the 7th, 1896, Holmes was hanged at, I have no idea how to pronounce that prison. Moya Mensing prison, known as the Philadelphia County Prison for the murder of Pitzel. Until the moment of his death, Holmes remained calm and amiable, showing very few signs of fear, anxiety, or depression. Despite this, he asked for his coffin to be contained in cement and buried 10 feet deep, because he was concerned grave robbers would steal his body and use it for dissection. No, dude, that's just you.
Should do it on purpose. That should be part of his punishment.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Do exactly the
like his body doesn't deserve any respect at this point. This guy's a fucking psychopath. Like
he does generally sound like a psychopath, like just for the fact that
he doesn't sound like he's even that obsessed with the murder itself. It's just practical for him almost. It's like fascination and practicality, and he doesn't give a shit what he'll do. Yeah,
it's just like it's something he just does.
Yeah, and it's like I don't think even the deaths of those kids were necessarily sort of all that more than just him going, "Oh, I'm bored of carrying these kids around now. Instead of setting them free or something, I'll just kill them. That's easier. They can't go anywhere then."
Or just that tiny moment when they annoyed you. It's just like, oh, why wouldn't I just kill them to shut them up? Like that, he wouldn't process in his head why he wouldn't. There's no reason not to.
Yeah. Upon his execution, Holmes' body was interred in an unmarked grave at Holy Cross Cemetery, a Catholic cemetery in Philadelphia, west suburb of Yeadon, Pennsylvania. Now, in total, he went to jail and was hanged for one murder. He confessed to 27 separate murders.
Jeez.
And the actual potential amount of total victims is anywhere from 100 to 200 different victims.
Well, I mean, I'd be more likely to accept the 27, just because by that point, why would he not admit to them anyway?
Yeah. Yeah.
And again, maybe there might be like some children involved he doesn't want to admit to or something like that.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. They found extra vague bits of evidence that could have linked it to it, but you couldn't be 100% sure. And it's like, he's already confessing to some things that are real and that didn't happen, and some things that did. And
oh yeah, like, you said this.
At that point, you can't really trust a single fucking word he says. And you know.
Just trying to get some kind of control in some style, probably, which is another thing you do hear about, especially psychopaths and that, especially the need for control more than anything, even once they've been arrested and that.
Yeah. They're trying to sort of manipulate that situation, even if they can't survive it. They just feel the need to do the power play. Yeah. And that's basically what happened with Henry Howard Holmes. And as I say, this is being made into a film. It's going to be directed by Martin Scorsese, and I imagine Henry Howard Holmes will be being played by Leonardo Dicaprio.
Oh, that would be a damn good film.
It'd be a damn good film, and not only that, like, if anyone's got the silver tongue thing down enough to sort of play this role, it's DiCaprio. DiCaprio could play this role in his sleep and do it perfectly, but he's going to do a fucking fantastic job at it.
So, you know what? It would make sense as well, because I know originally Leonardo DiCaprio in the past was interested in doing a murdery kind of film, because originally he was going to play what's it called again now? Glass? No, there was what was the original one?
Unbreakable, yeah. Right, he was going to play what's his face as well.
Yeah, James McAvoy. He was going to do that. But it seemed to be, from what I heard, that was when it was more just based on a killer with all these different
personalities.
Before it went to whatever, becoming whole Unbreakable.
To mix in with Unbreakable alongside Glass, and
So it makes sense that he's gone from that and he's now doing that. Now I could see him doing that.
Yeah, that's really good.
Yeah, like him as a bad guy, Him as a bad guy just in Django is great.
Yeah, he's good as a bad guy in that, and he's played some interesting roles recently that are sort of muddy characters at the best.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean, like the guy from Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Like, I love that film, and I know not a lot of people do,
yeah,
but I
I just
fucking
haven't
love
seen
that
it yet.
film. Yeah,
will
I
do.
watched
I
it
do
while I
like-
was on a plane on the way to New York, I think.
Oh yeah, I do like Quentin Tarantino. That's the thing. It's just at the same time, I do get kind of bored by him as well because it's just very.
Yeah.
I don't think it's as great as people make it out to be. His stuff. It's just
No, I get that. Like,
unique.
there's sort of people sort of go, oh well, Quentin Tarantino, he's the best, he's the greatest. You know, Quentin Tarantino is very good at making a Quentin Tarantino movie at this point, but he's basically practically useless at making anything else.
Yeah.
So,
I don't even begrudge him for making his own style of films. That's fine. I just, I like that they're different. That's the thing I like best about them. I don't think they're particularly great.
Yeah.
Some of them are. Like, I like Django. Django was really good, and I liked. I think Pulp Fiction is very overrated.
Well, yeah, I don't know. I quite like Pulp Fiction. I think there's bits of it that aren't fantastic, like the dance scene that everyone talks about being fucking amazing, and quite frankly, just pisses me off every time I fucking see it.
Well, was a bit like with Uma Thurman and Travolta.
Yeah,
yeah. It's a fun film. It's just not very good, and it just doesn't make much sense, really. And a lot of the stuff is just weird for the sake of weird. A lot of it.
Well, there we go. Yeah, that's quite a good way to end it. Just a positive note of.
Hold on one sec. One moment. Fucking mom calling right at the end of the recording, eh?
There we go. That's perfect, though, isn't it? It's like a nice little finisher.
Yeah, she's gonna finish me. She's gonna kill me. I think she sounds quite angry.
Oh, no.
But
Oh dear.
at least if she is gonna kill me, then I just hope she kills me with comedy.
Hey.
Take care, then, everyone. Let's leave.
Cheers,
this
guys.
bit. Cheers. I wasn't even a sentence. End.